All right, we rolling? Hey, this is Freedom Phil, like to subscribe live for the wasteland out here in the survival pod. What's the topic today? Nobody wants a sprinkling of shit on their ice cream. And the real problem is you try to turn what was ice cream into a whole scoop of turd these days. Where am I going with this? The same reason that a lot of people couldn't stand the religious right is the same reason a lot of people hate the left. You try to put your sprinkles of shit of whatever you think on everybody else's Sunday. We're going to talk about a little bit thing about gaming and why people hate American gaming. Yeah, this is Freedom Phil, like to subscribe. Hey, what do? You turn up the video speed. Why do I always say that? Because if I upload this, you should watch it at 1.75. The name of the channel, Turn Up the Video Speed, is an instruction. Yeah, let's get into it, like to subscribe. I'm sitting there watching this situation where somebody apparently made some pictures of game, Silk Song, and they show these bugs that look like ice agents. And I agree with what Asmongold said. They have to put their shit everywhere. It's like you can't escape it. It's like Gamergate all over again. And it's exactly right. And it never stopped, in truth. Like, part of the reason I like a lot of old vintage games, because I had a blast playing those games back in the day. Like, some of the games, they're kind of hard to come by to some degree because they haven't been remade or whatnot, or they were on like PlayStation Black Disc, and Lord knows those things don't, last forever. I'm replaying Chrono Cross on the Switch, and I'm having a blast. And I thought it was funny when I found was one particular thing. It says scaly dress can only be worn by women. It's like, man, you imagine how much uproar that would have caused these days because of the world of insanity that we're in. But you know why I like that game? Because I had a blast playing. I think the last time I played it was probably 15 or so years ago. It's been a long time. And I sit there and look at the situation of society today, and it's like, why do you always have to take something other people love? And by the way, this is part of the reason a lot of people can't stand the furries. And sprinkle your shit, shove your tail feathers in everybody else's face. By the way, back in the day, before gay marriage was a thing, this is part of the reason a lot of people were fucking over the gays. Because they were like, you're always shoving your tail feathers in everybody else's face. And it's not the gays these days that are so bad about that. It's really just the trans and the trans trenders, to be honest. And you got all these far leftist people, these weird hair colored, ugly ass motherfuckers generally. Like, some of them are attractive just from the idea of youth. But enough tattoos and I swear to God, nothing says walk me around like a slave like that fucking septum ring. I'm sorry. When you see that shit, you know someone's pretty crazy. But it's the fashion of the times. Same way that there's people that really believe, I'm not a him, I'm a her, I'm a trans, something, blah, blah, blah. It's a fucking fashion trend. Yes, there are legitimate people. But the fact that you take so many normal things and people sprinkle a little bit of their shit on your chocolate sundae. And it gets even worse, just like with the gaming, just like with the movies, just like with the music, just like with the fucking everything. I mean, did you see the Bad Bunny Super Bowl performance? Did you see that shit? Like, this guy speaking in some Latino language. He's like, the only part that was English was the chick that sung for a little second there. And let's just be honest about it. His performance was crap, but they had to shove it in there. And that wasn't a sprinkling of shit. That was literally them taking the ice cream scoop into a fucking fresh ass turd, still steaming, still stinking turd, and throwing it in your ice cream bowl and saying, "Don't you want to eat this? It's so good." A lot of people who don't understand propaganda don't probably they see it happening, like, I don't know what's going on. It's really this simple. You make, and this is by, I think it was Trotsky that said this, you make everything to where you can't escape the message. Like, people, like a lot of guys went to playing like Warhammer because it was an escape. Not from politics, it's just an escape. A lot of guys that were playing like sports video games or, that read comics, manga, anime. It was an escape. Football used to be an escape. And they always have to shove their pro-woke, pro-whatever they were told to be, pansexual, Bulbasaur sexual, nonsense into your life. At first, they start out with a little murmur of it, and then they start putting the sprinkles of shit. You're like, I used to like this. Now there's shit in it. And the propaganda, whatever the propaganda happens to be, they will produce it, they will put it out there, and then basically people are like, God damn it, now they're here again. Like you're dealing with rodents or cockroaches. You're like, guess we gotta bug bomb the house, fumigate the fucking house. It's annoying. And it's the same problem that we had back in the day with the Christians. And luckily by the time that I was like, I was born in 1980. So by the 90s, a lot of the Christians were kind of pushed back for the most part. But I remember there were moral fagging. Don't talk that way about my God. I remember I looked at one lady one day when I was a kid. I'm like, don't live your way. Fuck, you're not living by the way of the Lord. But these people would be aggressively in your face using their... And by the way, a lot of people that do that back when it was religious and still to this day, it's the same thing as the far left. They're using it as a power trip to tell you what to do, for you to conform. And so if you try to escape them, like they're so odious, like just like with the Christians, you're like, I'm just going the other way. Just leave me be, you be you. They try to infest the message. They try to put it on TV. They try to put it in your video games. They try to put it in your media, your games, your everything. Well, the Christians tried that. And now that their era is kind of went the way of the dodo for the time, maybe it'll make a comeback because people are so sick of the left. Now it's the other side, and they've been doing it for fucking 20-odd years. I shouldn't say 20, but at least like 10 to 15. They've been doing this for 10 to 15 fucking years. And what happens is that they slowly change this. Like, okay, Tifa's breast can't be that big. Oh, why is this even an issue? It's a cartoon character. It's a video game character. And the answer for that is that, well, you see, there's toxic masculinity and blah, 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 blah. Translation, anything that's fun and male is apparently bad. Anything that's like normal, male, and an escape from this fucking reality. Because I'm going to be honest with you, most of the people out there aren't sensible enough to do retirement by 30. They're not going to do the hero's journey. They're just going to work a fucking job. They're going to pay their rent or their mortgage or whatever, and they're just going to plod on by. So whatever little escape they have, whether it was sports, video games, anime, they'll probably try to infest fishing. They probably already have. They'll take whatever woke agenda and try to put their little sprinkles of shit in it. And nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for the shit in the ice cream. And every once in a while, just like with the Bad Bunny situation, they give you whole scoops of shit and try to convince you that it's ice cream. I'm just saying. Like when you see these people making these protests, like the little, they take a video game, a still image, or they go even further and make actual animation, which I got to give them some. That's kind of impressive, to be honest. But considering what AI can do, it's not even real AI, but programs can do. Yeah, it's possible. And then they put their little tramp stamp on that. I'm just saying. I look at it and I'm just like, that's why people hate the left. And it's a justified hate. You all don't know when to leave some shit alone. And they'll go back and they'll be like, Gamergate. Yeah. You mean when the women lied? You mean when they were basically sleeping with or getting paid? They were kind of like an incestuous relationship with the game's journalist. They put out shitty games. Like they were doing a crappy job. Like literally, they took all this money, donation money from all these people to make a game, and they didn't make shit. Did they ever get called out for it? Well, kind of, sort of, but not really. Like the people on the outside, the people that were called toxic, said, hey, look what they produced. They haven't produced shit. It was all a grift. I remember when this happened way back in the day, whether you like the guy or hate the guy, from Jeremy from the Quartering, where he just called out like some e-thoughts in the magic sphere, cosplaying e-thoughts. And he got basically exiled from the magic community because he dared to say, hey, this chick looks like a fucking whore. And what's this got to do with magic? Like she's just basically shaking her ass, to get money from little boys. Oh, here's my pics. Oh, I'm gonna bend over. Look at my tits. I remember that shit. Like the minute there was any sort of accountability or anybody saying, hey, why are you dragging this crap into our fandom? They would be like, oh my God, you're toxic. You're a phobe. You're this, you're that. And it's like, now, a lot of the things that I used to do, I used to enjoy, I'm not saying I couldn't play a game of Magic the Gathering. But every time I see some of these new weird sets, collab sets, I look at it and go, why the hell would I want to play that? Like, why did you fuck this up? Like, oh, heck, leave it to Hasbro, to basically take a good product and take a dump on it. But when I see the little, adjustments, like when you see, American gaming, when you look at the characters and the women have kind of a masculine face, I'm sorry. Is it a surprise? Like, maybe that is the great Chinese, Soviet/Chinese thing. We'll make everything in your country so crappy, so uncomfortable, that sooner or later you'll just start buying what we're selling because we're selling what you used to make. And what is kind of beautiful is AI is getting to the point these days where effectively we can make movies, we can make anime, we can bypass the legacy industry. Like the big gaming industry community that used to exist, it used to mean something. Now you're just kind of waiting to see how bad they'll flop and fuck up. To the point where games coming out of China are better. Games coming out of Korea. You got to wonder, you can't trust Japan anymore. Because Japan's been incestuously co-opted by the American politics. We got to have a good world message. And that's where I'm saying to Japan, you need to cut off. You need to be like, you need to cut off this gangrenous limb and get back to making what made Japan great. And eventually, when everything finally fucking collapses, and as Asmongold said many a times, they're all coming back. They're all going back. They're going back to McDonald's when all the bad programmers lose their job, lose their money, and they're working back at a fast food joint like Mickey D's. And there's a new industry that you at home could make your own anime because the technology's finally got there. You at home could make your own video games. We're going to have an open industry. And there's going to be some people, small groups, to develop really good games. And it's going to take this wildfire. And let's be honest, let's just use your analogy. In this world where they've been sprinkling little spatterings on your ice cream with little of their shit, their propaganda shit, it is like the forest. That because we didn't let a forest fire, we didn't clean up the forest, we didn't go through there, clean up the low branches, the needles, and all the stuff, because we have let the thing get so clogged and choked with burnable material, fuel source, there's going to be a wildfire. And we're seeing that wildfire, these regular fires, these gaming companies going under, these movie studios going under, movies flopping. It's happening. And all they had to do, great example is Kathleen Kennedy with Star Wars. You had a license to print money. All you had to do is go back into the old source material, and maybe you would have had to pay some royalties to the people that wrote the book. Who knows? I don't know. All you had to do was use what was already there. Instead, you wanted to make it your message that nobody wanted to see. And you done fucked it up. You took a money printing machine and you done broke it. Well, as a lot of the things we used to love slowly die off, we could go back and watch the old materials, assuming they don't ban that too. Ironically, you better have some DVDs. You better have some digital copies of whatever you used to love. They'll slowly try to take that away. You can't escape our message. Now the women have to be ugly, but the men looks like fucking gods. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. But the wildfire will come. And those who sprinkle the shit on your ice cream, just like what happened to the religious right, will come for the left. Technology will put those people working back at McDonald's. That's where they belong. They don't belong making games. They don't belong. And I've said it before, and it's a whole side conversation at some point. A bunch of people got in there, slept with the right people, and then they could use that as leverage over them. So then they end up becoming the hiring teams, the HR, and they hire their own. And that's why you could never let one of them in. They're like a self-replicating insect, a parasite. Like if it can't find a mate, it will done fucking produce babies on its own. It will slowly infect the host. They fuck their way in by banging a handful of like CEO nerds. And then eventually having the power of the HR, they hire their own. And they keep on hiring their own until there's nothing but bloat. There's nothing but wokey bullshit. And at the end of it all, when the company falls apart, yeah, who wins? Who wins? It ain't America. Maybe it's China. But when the forest fire happens and kills off all the dead wood in the industries, you know who will rise up? Actual people who love games. Actual people who want to make their own anime. Actual people, the love of the game. And there'll be a lot of it out there. There'll be a lot of shit too. But the market and the people will filter all that out. They will. If something's good, people are going to gravitate to it. If there's something people enjoy playing, watching, doing, being, making, people will gravitate to it. So the big giant corpo / pseudo government style business, yeah, there'll still be some of it around. Kind of like the legacy media these days. But like I said the other day, CNN's lost over 70% of its viewership since 2016. So the power that those legacy industries will have will be greatly diminished. And there'll be a new rise, a new forest, a new wilderness of people making the great material again. Just try to remember, once you get big, don't sprinkle your shit on everybody's ice cream. This is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe, take it easy, and hey, turn up the video speed. Why do I always say that? If you watch this later, watch all my videos at 1.75. Yeah, take it easy.